Hi there everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's exciting to be recording a video again after all this time. This is a VR to Simon top 3 of 3. So the idea is you mention your top 3 favourite Thoth decks, Marseille, Pip decks and RWS decks. So in that order then, I've got my top 3 Thoth decks. So the first one, I should probably preface this by saying that I don't actually have that many Thoth decks. So I didn't really have much to choose from here, but I do really enjoy the decks that I do have, and particularly these ones. So the first one I would mention is the Liberty Tarot of Stars Eternal. I got this as part of my Total Tarot subscription. This is kind of Thoth, but also kind of not at the same time, because it does have images, so you can definitely see the Thoth influence. You know that. I mean, it pretty much is the Thoth full, except it's been redrawn differently. It's even got this kind of a thing in between the legs. But yeah, you can see that it's got like the planetary and astrological correspondences. It's also got the Kabbalistic Hebrew alphabet correspondence. The only thing that irks me about this is the back is one of the cards, and that people can do whatever they want, but it stops me from using decks, put it that way. There's a deck that there's decks that I've gone to buy, and then when I've realised that they use one of the card images as the back, it stops me buying it. I absolutely love the fronts of these cards, so I wouldn't part with this. But yeah, maybe it's just me being weird. Does anybody else feel like that? So you kind of seen the majors, like Hermit's beautiful. Let me show you some of the minors. So Ace of Cups, and my dog's making funny noises in the background. So you can see that we get the astrological correspondences for the minors here. So for the Seven of Cups, we've got Venus and Scorpio. What we don't get is the Golden Dawn keywords that we get on the Thoth deck. But as you see, we have this, so I think the Seven of Cups is pleasure, if I remember rightly. Or debauch it might be, I'm not sure. But we get the Seven of Cups at the bottom there, which is illustrated quite like it is on the Thoth Seven of Cups, but then we also get this image on top, which is quite nice. And we have the astrological correspondences are actually here as well as on the border. So if you wanted to hello Luna, if you wanted to trim this deck, then I think it would be quite nice trimmed. And then the quartz is the other thing to mention, isn't it? So they do the princess, prince, queen and knight, the same as the Thoth. So yeah, let me just let you see some more. That Mars and Aries, the two of sectors, is really nice, really nicely done. And some of the swords. One card I do like in the Thoth is the Eight of Swords. I love all the different styles of swords. I always have enjoyed that. You can see the elemental associations are on the quartz as well. So the knights are, so this is the earth suit, so they all have earth, but the knights are fire, the queens are water, the prince is air, and the princess is earth. So that's the Liberty. The next one, and Simon had this one, is the Urban Tarot. So I'm always toying with the idea of chopping the top and bottom borders and just having the art, because this deck is of a size where it's actually quite difficult to, I could just about get my hands around it, but it's annoying, and it's an annoying one to riffle shuffle. Whereas if I took the top and bottom borders off, I think it would actually make for a standard, more or less standard tarot size, and it would be quite workable. You can see that this does have the, you can see the number, and the suit is kind of in the faded background there. See, that's the Earth suit. And this one has the keywords, but it doesn't have the astrological correspondences. And some of the minors we have illustrations on. Some of them are less illustrated, so that's maybe a bit less illustrated for the Seven of Swords. I don't know why I feel the need to pick this up. I made the point in zooming the camera in so you could see it, and then I'm picking them up. I guess just a force of habit. So there, that's like the Seven of Cups, the botch. So that was the keyword I was searching for when I was talking about that one before, but slightly less illustrated in that one. Virtue. Death card. 10 of Wands for oppression. That's right, the courts have the they give each court a kind of a title. So you can see the Princess of Cups here is the costume designer. Queen of Swords is the painter. Nice Sun card. The art card is beautiful. Has anyone ever noticed how in the Thoth deck all of the 10s except the 10 of Wands are shaped like the Tree of Life? Yeah, like the 10 Sephiroth from the Tree of Life. The 10 of Discs is in the RWS as well, but if you look at the way the cups are shaped, and if you look at where the hilts for the swords are, there, that one not so much, but in the actual Thoth, the cups and the swords follow that shape as well, which makes me wonder why the wands aren't. Knight of Swords is the game master. So that's the Urban. And then the last Thoth one that I want to mention, believe it or not, shock horror, is the Thoth itself. So I keep my Thoth in this bag. I've long since, lost the box. I have been told this is a greenie. I trimmed it before I trimmed this years and years and years and years ago. It may actually have been the very first deck that I ever modded. Before I even knew what a greenie was, and before I even thought about tarot decks being vintage, I trimmed this. But I know that it had the it didn't have the white border around the back. The back was just all this image. So you can see when I've trimmed it, it's kind of taken a bit of the cross off, and and I don't know, I can't really tell, because I don't have anything. I don't have another Thoth. I don't have anything to compare this to, but I suppose it does have a bit of a green tinge, but then I thought they all did. Not that I'm particularly fussed by it, because I'm not ever going to get rid of this deck. It's mine. I like it the way it is, so it doesn't bother me that it's trimmed, even if it is a greenie. But yeah, the thing is, the greenies, I thought the greenies came in those white kind of a boxes with the red writing on them. This definitely didn't. This came in, I'm sure it was like one of the green boxes. You know, where you get the 3 different sizes, and the biggest one, the kind of a jumbo sized one's green. I'm sure that's what this came in. But I did get this years and years ago. Don't really know how long ago. I want to say about 20 odd years ago. So yeah, who knows. But anyway, yeah, that's just the standard Thoth. And yeah, see what I'm talking about with the Tree of Life. So you've got the 6, 7, 8, 9, and then Malkuth 10 at the bottom. So yeah, that's the Thoth. So those are my 3 Thoth decks. The next category that I'll talk about is the kind of a Marseille inspired. The first one is the Tattoo Tarot and Kin Intuition. Some might not view this as a very Marseille at all, and you'd probably be right, but it is definitely a pip deck, and I just love the art style. These are the back. I love the backs. The backs look like an old playing card, which is really cool. The way that the pips have been drawn is stunning, I think. And as much as it is pip, there are wee embellishments, like you can see the web and the spider here and the 3 of Swords. See, the 4 is really quite Marseille. Knight of Wands. So the 10 of Swords is very different from what the 10 of Swords in a Marseille deck looks like. Again, I'm sure the 8 of Cups is different from what the Marseille 8 of Cups looks like, but some of them do look quite similar. So yeah, definitely a pip deck. Questionable whether we can categorise this as a Marseille, but hey ho. I'm sure the category was pip decks rather than specifically had to be a TDM. In fact, yeah, I know it was, because Simon had an Italian deck in this category. So that is the Tattoo Tarot. The next one is, so I think this is a version of the CBD Tarot. And I think that's Conver Bendov, but I really don't know my Marseille history as well as I should. I just love how clean and crisp the images are in this deck, and this is one that's been used a lot. The backs are beautiful. Well, this is part of the Total Tarot subscription, like the Liberty actually. Hermit. See, it's got the French titles. I've always loved the 7 of Coins in the Marseille. Oh, the man's upside down. That's so random. I'm just going to leave him like that. That's amused me. The moon card is beautiful. So yeah, that is my Total Tarot version of the CBD. And finally, the last Tarot de Marseille. And this will always be my favourite Marseille because it was handmade by my good friend Justin Michael. Is this, and it's a version of the Dodal. Absolutely beautiful. It does have these sharp corners, but kind of makes it authentic to the time it would have been made. Although he has made it on this this kind of a special cardstock. It's almost like a playing cardstock, because Justin knows that I use my decks to within an inch of their life. I riffle shuffle them. Yeah, so he made it on a cardstock that he knew would withstand me, basically. It would be durable. Sign of Coins again. So yeah, as you can see, it's, you know, in terms of the pips, it's pretty much a standard Marseille, but it's absolutely beautiful. And this is, if anyone's seen my like my business cards, or like the background of my, like any kind of a stuff that I'm producing for my channel, or for like the market things that I do, like my signs and stuff, it's these cards that I've kind of used as the background. So yeah, that is my Justin Dodal, is what I refer to it as. On to RWS. My first one is this Caro Herzer deck, and this is oh, there we go. So Illuminated 2, I think that's Black Border design, or Black Borders deck, sorry, without titles. So this was a gift, and this is absolutely stunning. The cardstock is quite, like, it does feel really, it feels as though it's flimsy, but it's like, it's not really, it's just the kind of cardstock, and I wouldn't have it any other way. As much as it's glary, and you know, I can really appreciate the art on this cardstock, which is what I think Caro Herzer was going for when she makes them on this. The colours that Caro uses are just stunning. You can tell that this is a workhorse deck for me because it's got reversal shuffled into it. So you can tell that I'm using it often, and I use it to read for other people. But yeah, the images are stunning, and kind of a like soul card. You can just get lost, and like, these are really good. I've used them for like meditation and stuff before. So yeah, they're really good for that. The Hermit card. Like, it's, with this deck, it's not just about the usual stuff that your eyes would be drawn to in a RWS. Like the skies, you know, the way that the colours just blast onto the pages, you know. Backgrounds, just stunning. Anyway, that is my Caro Herzer Illuminated Black Borders deck without titles. The next one I keep in this box, and I think this is the oldest deck that I've got. It's not my very first deck because I don't know what that is anymore, but it was basically the deck that I got to replace that when I realised that had gone missing. It's called the Original Rider-Waite. It's this kind of a box here. This is just another copy of it that I have. As you can see, I have trimmed the borders off this one. As you can also see, it is, you know, it's been used to within an inch of its life just because I've had it for so long. To be honest, I don't use this particular deck all that much anymore. But it is really special to me just because of how long I've had it, because this deck was not this copy of it, but this deck was my first deck. It always has like that special place for me. But yeah, I think at one point I even had these sticked into like a journal type thing, and then I removed them from the journal and like washed the Pritt stick off. So they've got a bit more wear than normal, than you would normally expect a tarot deck to have. But it still reads really well. It's still a beautiful deck. It's been through the mill a bit, but as has any good tarot deck. So yeah, that is my oldest copy of the original Rider-Waite RWS. And then the final deck I've got to mention is this copy of the Wiser. This also is used to within an inch of its life. This is the deck that I use most when I'm reading for other people. This deck comes with me to, and has been with me to every single fair that I've done. I use it for everything, so you can see that I've got the Decans, the Decanates written. Oh, that's not a Decan, but there, so like Mercury and Aquarius for the Six of Swords. You see that it's got reversal shuffled into it. You can see that the cards are all wavy and wonky because of how much it's been riffle shuffled. But again, I wouldn't have it any other way. This is an amazing deck. I've used this for, I used to kind of keep it to the side and use it if someone wanted me to read timing. Because I use the Decans to read timing. If you're interested in that, let me know and I can maybe do a video on how I read timing. But then, so what I normally do when I'm reading at fairs is I'll have some decks on the table and I'll say to people, you choose what deck I'll read for you with. And I was reading for a lady and I said that to her and she bypassed the decks that were right in front of her and pointed right at this deck and said, that's the deck that I want. And she was very certain about it, and so I was like, right, okay, we'll go for this deck then. And ever since that, I've always had that out as one of the decks that I kind of do the full spread with, as well as kind of a read timing with. So top 3 of 3, that's mine. Let me know what yours are. Let me know what you think of my top 3 of 3. Are there any there that surprised you that you thought would never in a million years have made it in? Are there any other decks that you thought would have made it into my top 3 of 3 that maybe didn't? Let me know. Thanks very much. I hope you've enjoyed this. It's great to be back. I'll hopefully be putting out a lot more content now. Take care, everyone. I'll see you all later. Bye.